welcome to my channel. I'm Mandy Grace. We have reached the end of March, which means I have to look back at all the books that I read in March and see if I made my goals. So for anyone who is somehow not yet aware of this circumstance, my reading goals for all of 2021 are to get through my physical stack of books that I own but have not yet read, plus a handful of borrowed books. I did the initial math on this and I had to read about 4.5 books every month. I then was given more books to read, so it's really closer to 5 books at this point, but we're still saying 4.5 because I haven't redone the math. At some point I'll redo the math. So, yes, I have to read my 5 books every month, and then I also have a goal to read 1 book on writing craft every single month as I try to get better at writing books and publishing books and all the authorly things. So, did I make any of those goals? To start with, I did do my 1 book on writing craft. I did Take Off Your Pants, Outline Your Books for Faster, Better Writing. I loved this book, and I used it for the book that I'm going to be writing tomorrow for Camp Nano. Oh boy, that's tomorrow. We're not going to think about Camp Nano. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. So I did do my 1 book on writing craft, and I loved it, and it was wonderful. There is a vlog of me reading and using this book on my channel. It's not a super long one, to be fair. Some of my other videos on such books are slightly more in-depth, but there is a video if you care to see how I felt the first time I read and used this. Now, how many books did I read? Technically speaking, I didn't read any of the books in my original stack that I was trying to get through for 2021. What I read this month was the extra books that were given to me, which I put on top of the stack as more books to read in 2021, but yes, anyway. So, I read Love and Friendship by Jane Austen. I think I do have a reading vlog of this. I think I do. It's been too long since the beginning of this month, I don't remember, but I think there's a reading vlog of this. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of funny to read because the stuff in here is not really up to par with her books, but you can see that Jane Austen wrote it, if that makes sense, so it was entertaining. Also, it gave birth to one of my greatest pet peeves in writing and film. I'll never get over this. I thought that the Sorcerer's versus Philosopher's Stone would be my biggest literary pet peeve ever, but I have a new one, which I'm not getting into right now. It's fine. I also read a memoir of Jane Austen, which I really enjoyed. This was written by her nephew, and I loved it, to be honest. I'd never read this before, and I really enjoyed it. This was great. Also, it includes the original, I don't know what my fingers are doing. It includes, I don't know if you are in the same spot. Hopefully you are. My camera died. This always happens to me. I was ranting about this. So it includes the original ending to Persuasion, which I was going to say is one of my favorite Jane Austen books, but I say that about literally all of Jane Austen's books, so whatever. So anyway, that was fascinating to read. I definitely prefer the ending that made it into the final Persuasion, because this one was kind of lackluster, to be honest, but it was cute and it was fun to read. And as an author myself who has various pieces of drafts that never made it into the published version, I found it interesting. I also read The Letters of Jane Austen. This was fascinating, also somewhat boring. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed, you know, her wit and her humor as she, you know, related her day-to-day life with various people that she corresponded with. But also it was just the tiniest bit boring. So there you go. That is all that I read off of the stack, which technically none of them were on the stack because they were given to me and I was like, oh, I should add these to the stack. So I did. But the books that I'm actually trying to get through in 2021 remain the same. They're just all over there still. It's fine. So I failed because I only did 3. It's fine. I am also in the midst of beta reading a book which also does not count for anything but I'm throwing it up there because I've been reading it. So there you go. And also, this is why I wasn't able to read other books. This is the real reason. Okay. The Enchanted Crown, the final book in the Stolen Kingdom series, was published, and throughout the month of March, leading up to the publication of this highly anticipated finale, which I had to get my hands on. By the way, this was the only book I allowed myself to buy this year, if that tells you how excited I was. Anyway, in the build-up to the release, Bethany Atazadeh, the author, was doing a read-along of the series so that we could, catch up on the story and then get the fourth book. So I participated in that. So along with the 3 Jane Austen-y books that I read, which weren't really part of my stack, but I made them part of my stack, I also read 3 books completely unrelated to my stack that don't count at all. The Stolen Kingdom, which I love, and The Cursed, that's out of order. The Cursed Hunter, hold on. The Ginny Key and The Cursed Hunter. This one's my favorite. And now I finally have my hands on book 4, signed, which is cool. And that's what I'm going to start reading now, but that will be an April read because I don't really have time in the last, few hours of March to read The Enchanted Crown. I think as a month in general, I did really well reading. This is a lot of books to read in a month. I am very proud of myself. The problem is, half of them don't count toward my goals. So I need to be better about actually reading those books that are right behind the camera versus these ones. But I don't regret a thing because these books are amazing.